Welcome to Run With It, BC's only running, fitness, and health show. On this episode, we have run coverage of the BMO Vancouver Marathon. We were in conversation with Dr. Doug and Diane Clement on the upcoming Vancouver Sun Harry Jerome International Track Classic. And we're in conversation with Hollywood producer and New York Times bestselling author Frank Beddor on how he maintains a healthy lifestyle. And back on the show, we have Global News Morning BC host Steve Darling, who gives us an update on his healthy eating habits. As well, we have a post-run report on the Woman to Warrior and information on the Easter Seals camps. We also have a contest coming up on your chance to win a pair of running shoes by Skechers. But first, let's go to our coverage of the 45th anniversary of the BMO Vancouver Marathon. The event drew over 16,000 runners, the highest number of participants ever. Check this out. Charlene, welcome to Run With It. I'm so excited to be here, and it's marathon weekend, and the Kids Run is a very important addition or event to have because it's about leading a healthy lifestyle.
Absolutely, yeah. So here we are, 2016 BMO Vancouver Marathon at the Kids Run, and the Kids Run is one of 6 races that we have this weekend. So the Kids Run, and then followed by a 2.5 kilometer walk, and then tomorrow, of course, is the big marathon, the half marathon, the relay, and the 8 kilometer race. So we have races for everybody, but today really it's a focus about getting young people, kids involved in racing and committing to a healthy lifestyle.
Thank you, Charlene, for coming on the show again. Run With It. Now tell us about the hat trick.
Oh my gosh, so the hat trick is for runners who do all 3 of our races in a calendar year. So those runners who participate in the 2016 BMO Vancouver Marathon and then do the Turkey Trot in October and the Fall Classic in November, they get a special hat trick award for doing all 3 races. So it's really an incentive for local runners to engage with the society and to really promote running all year round.
Congratulations on your first place today. How do you feel? I mean, I know you feel great, but did you expect to come in first place?
No, I didn't expect it because the second guy was a strong guy, a 210 guy. So it was a tough competition.
With me in the studio is Dr. Doug Clement, who is a former Olympian, is co-founder of the Vancouver Sun Run and organizer of the Vancouver Sun Harry Jerome International Track Classic. Dr. Clement is here today to talk about the upcoming 33rd annual Vancouver Sun Jerome Meet, which is happening on June 17th. Welcome to the show, Doug.
Thank you, Christine.
I am so excited about the Harry Jerome
Well, so
Meet.
are we. It's going to be a special year. I mean, our 33rd year, but more importantly, I think for everybody, this is the Olympic year. You know, with all its shortcomings and all the difficulties of the Olympics, it's still, the values are there in terms of the drive of many, many people around the world to get to Rio, and we're trying to do our best of allowing our Canadians to get there ready to go.
And this is a perfect opportunity for the athletes to, use it as a, if you will, tune-up race for the road to Rio.
Absolutely. This is an important step on their participation in Rio. We have right now an amazing number of Canadian athletes that are already qualified. Now they have to go through the actual trials, in Edmonton in early July. They have to make sure they're healthy and all that sort of business, but many of them have already made the very tough standards to get into the event. In fact, I think there's over 60 athletes that are ready to go. And we've got many of them right here in British Columbia, and so we're really excited on the Jerome on June 17th to see them get ready to go to Rio.
And some of these athletes are like Melissa Bishop, 800 meters.
Yes, Melissa Bishop, of course, is the Canadian record holder. She was second in the world in Beijing at the World Championships last summer. And she's going to be facing some good foreign competitions from the United States. Brenda Martinez, who was a bronze medalist in 2013 at the World Championships in the 800 meters. And we've, of course, got our local content. I mean, the important program that Britt McRoberts is holding, or Britt Townsend
Yes.
now, is holding out at SFU with Jessica Smith, Helen Crofts, and Lindsay Butterworth, who are heir apparents, if you will, to moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, I hear Andre DeGrasse will be there.
Yes, indeed.
That's...
Andre has been a really special thing. I mean, he's a person who was a basketball player in grade 11 and just got introduced to track and field in grade 12, and one of our national Olympians from former years saw him there and said, hey, you should try this sport. And of course, he's rocketed, literally, right from obscurity to being third in the world in Beijing, breaking the 10-second barrier, running 9.92, and more importantly, breaking the Canadian records at 200 meters, 1988. So this is a fast guy, and he really shocked the world when he decided that he was going to forego his NC2A eligibility in his last year and turn professional. He signed a contract $11 million with the Puma Shoe Company. And that's unheard of in athletics, and particularly unheard of in Canada. And in our experience, it's an amazing thing.
How did you feel when you heard that he's coming? Like, what was the process like?
Well, it's like, you have to shoot for the best.
Right.
You aim for the top. And be prepared to deal with it whatever way it turns out. And we were very fortunate in being able to secure in his busy schedule the date of June 17th. It's a Friday evening. It's going to get started at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, okay.
6 o'clock. And there's some really exciting things happening at 6 o'clock that you might not necessarily expect. Last month in Rome, Canadian walkers, all three of them from the University of British Columbia, and track race walking here in Vancouver, got second in the world in the race walk team event, led by Ben Thorne, who was a bronze medalist at the World Championships, then Inaki Gomez, and then Evan Dunphy. The three of them combined to be the second best team in the world behind China. Now, you're an expert at running. If you were to have those race walkers participate in the Vancouver Sun Run, where would you think they would finish out of the 43,000 people this year?
Oh, you know what? They would be really high up there.
How high?
Well, I would say 5,000?
How about 200?
200.
They'd be in the top 200. They'll be going for the Canadian record on June 17th for the 5,000 meters on the track.
That is...
It's 1875 is the Canadian record. And so that's fast. If you can't find running 18 minutes for 5K very easy.
Right. Oh my goodness.
These men are just absolutely amazing. They have to have one foot on the ground and their weight-bearing legs straight the whole way. It's a very technical event. And it deserves a lot of respect when you consider how fast they're going. Definitely.
And Doug, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. And for more information, they can go to the website,
yes,
www.harryjerome.com /events.
Perfect.
And we'll be right back. Joining me is Global News Morning co-host Steve Darling, and he's here to talk about his healthy lifestyle. Welcome back to the show, Steve.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm so happy. Now, last time we talked about, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and you lost 65 pounds.
Right.
Like, do you record in a logbook, or do you count calories?
No, I don't. It's too much work to write in a logbook, I think. No, but I watch what I eat, so I don't really necessarily count calories. I stick very paleo type oriented, so a lot less carbs than anything, more protein. So that's kind of what I've stuck with, and that's what worked for me is the less carbs. So not a lot of bread, a lot of pastas, things like that. That stuff's kind of gone. sort of finding different ways to eat it. Like like edamame noodles, things like just stuff that sort of like what you used to like, but it's a lot healthier.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now you walk as well or run?
Yeah, run, play hockey, play a lot of sports, coach soccer. So yeah, we're a pretty active family, and we do a lot of things outdoors, especially that the weather's starting to turn and it's getting nicer. So we'll find ourselves out a lot, and we like. There's a little thing called the Coquitlam Crunch we do quite a bit. It's like sort of like a baby grouse grind. So we take the kids with us, and my 5-year-old loves it. My daughter, she loves it as well. Not as much as he does, but yeah. So we have a challenge. We try to get further up every time we go. So, but yeah, we're pretty active, so we're out quite a bit.
And you're an inspiration to many. And what's the feedback been like? Oh, you look great, Steve. And
yeah, a lot of that, which is nice to hear. I mean, when you got a mug like this, you have to do whatever you can. But yeah, no, everyone's been really positive, and that's always nice to hear, of course. But you got to do it for yourself and not for what other people are thinking about you. And just as equally on the other side, there are people who are not very friendly about certain things. And that's just part of the business that we're in. But yeah, everyone's been super nice and saying, oh, you look great and all that kind of stuff. But it's more about how you feel, right? And I feel good, and that's all that matters.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, Steve. It's
thanks
been
for
a
having me again.
pleasure. Thank you. So we'll be right back. And now it's time for our contest. You could win a pair of running shoes from Skechers Performance Canada. Simply answer the following question. When are the America's Masters Games coming to Vancouver? To enter, go to our website on the screen. We will announce the winner next month. And good luck. Before heading out the door for that run or workout, run early in the morning before the sun's harmful rays. Run in the trails or shady areas to keep cool. Wear a hat, sunglasses, and protective clothing, and apply the right amount of sunscreen for your skin type. We are happy to have back on the show Mandy Wong, event manager at BC Lions Society and Easter Seals for BC and Yukon. She's here to talk about the Women to Warrior event and the upcoming Easter Seal camps. Welcome back, Mandy.
Thank you so much for having me again today.
Oh, you're welcome. So how successful was the Women to Warrior event?
It was really good. It was our 4th annual Women to Warrior event. We had over 220 participants and their friends and family on site. We raised $89,000 for Easter Seals camps.
And that's more than you expected? Or?
Yeah, definitely.
Great.
It was a really good number. We're really happy. That will help a lot of campers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the camps coming up, right? The Easter Seals Challenge camps, is that?
Oh, okay. So we have an event coming up called Easter Seals Camp Challenge, and that's taking place June 11 to 12 at our Camp Squamish. It is BC's only charity sports day for adults.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, teams compete in a variety of challenges and games and collect points to become Camp Challenge champions. They also have an option of camping overnight at Camp Squamish, and they get to participate in a variety of activities like tie-dye. They get to enjoy a campfire. Yeah, exactly, tie-dye. We're all about tie-dye at camp. And also they get to enjoy volleyball and bocce tournaments. And the most important thing, like I mentioned before, they get to camp overnight at camp, which is incredible experience.
So they get to, check out the camps.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
See where the money is going, right? Raised, and that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Easter seals. Like, what is it about? What's the Easter seals about?
So in BC,
Yes.
we offer 2 essential services in the province: Easter Seals camps, like I mentioned before, and Easter Seals house. So funds raised from our various events goes towards sending over 800 kids and young adults with disabilities to one of 3 accessible camps in the province. So we have one in Squamish, Shawnigan in Vancouver Island, and also Winfield in Kelowna. And our camps are modified and specially designed for people with disabilities. We have things like a in-ground trampoline where kids in wheelchairs can go on, and we also have like one of the largest accessible tree houses.
Oh, tree houses.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, that's what camp's about, right? You have to
Yes.
go to a tree house.
So how do people get involved? It's for disabilities, people who
Yeah.
need mental issues as well.
Yeah, so it's for cognitive and physical
Yes.
disabilities. So if families want to have their kid go to camp, they just have to apply, find the application online at eastersealscamps.ca and mail in their application form. But yeah, every summer we have kids coming in. It's first come, first serve for the camps, and some of our weeks are already filled up.
Oh no. So what happens? So it's best to register early, right?
Register as soon as possible if you want your child to go to Easter Seals camps.
Right. And if they can't make it to like the Squamish camp, they can maybe go to the other 2 camps.
Definitely. Definitely.
And Mandy, how does it make you feel? Like it's such a wonderful opportunity for kids with disabilities, but it's much needed, right, to have.
Definitely. Well, for us, we think of summer camp, something that we remember from childhood, and some of these kids aren't able to go to camps like this, and our specially designed camps for them. They get to meet lots of friends that they have for a lifetime. Our camp counselors on site also offer a very memorable experience for them as well. And they all say that it's the best place on earth, and every summer they want to go back to camp.
Right. And if you want to be a camp instructor, you can apply as well.
Yeah, you definitely. I think we're done for this summer, but you can definitely go for next year. You can also apply to be a camp counselor. You can also volunteer for a week on site at the camps as well.
And so, Mandy, what do you like most about your role?
I think it's really rewarding. I get to meet the most incredible kids. I think all the events that we get to do, you get to meet incredible fundraisers and hear their stories, and everyone's really positive. And yeah, I think it's just a really rewarding role.
That's awesome. So for more information, where can they go?
So if you want to go to camp, it's eastersealscamps.ca. If you want to go to our camp challenge, which is coming up June 11th to 12th, it's eastersealscampchallenge.com.
Thank you, Mandy, for coming on the show, and we'll have you come back. Joining me in the studio is a very special guest, Frank Beddor. Born in Minnesota and now living in LA. He is a 2-time world champion freestyle skier, a Hollywood producer of There's Something About Mary and Wicked. He is also a New York Times best-selling author of the Looking Glass trilogy and recently released a new adventure series, Hatter Madigan. Ghost in the Hat Box. Frank is here to talk about his healthy lifestyle and about the book.
Thank you very much.
And I didn't pronounce that right. It was Hatter Madigan.
It's Madigan,
Madigan.
actually. It's a riff off of the Mad Hatter. So I was looking for something that would, kind of cue the audience. So Hatter Madigan.
Now, I've been reading your book.
Oh, thank you.
And it's fascinating. And the book is for all ages.
Yes, I mean, I have a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. I have an 8-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son, and I basically wrote it for them because we were having dinner a couple of years ago, and they said, "Dad, when are you going to write a book for us?" and my son said, "It has to have a lot of action and be fast-paced." And my daughter said, "Yeah, and no princesses, Dad. I'm sick of princesses. I want her to be strong, but not scary." So that was my mandate. But, I have a very healthy crossover audience between YA, young adult, and adult readers. So it crosses both.
Hatter is a fascinating character because he can't show emotion.
Right.
And he's friends with the tenders. And Rhodes doesn't like that. So there was a huge fight. But you feel like he wants to look up to his brother.
Right.
And he's searching for his own identity. And there's a theme in there, running, which I really like.
Oh, tying us to this
Yes.
show. Why am I here? Yes, there is a big aspect of that. He comes in as an insider, so he's really popular, and there's a spotlight on him because his brother is the famous youngest bodyguard of the queen. But then there's these misfits, and he gets thrown into detention, and he meets them, and none of them like this guy, none of them like Hatter. But it turns out that they become his closest friends, and they're the four that come together to solve the mystery of the ghost in the hat box. And at the end, he has to get inside the hat box and run to the top of the hat, which is a holographic training for extreme combat training, and to rescue the whole Millenary Academy where he's going to school.
Now, I heard that this may be an animated children's...
Yeah, I wanted to do it as an animated
Yes.
show, so I've been working on that show. Because I live in Los Angeles, and I've been in show business. This seems like a real natural fit. There's a TV show called Samurai Jack, which I was a big fan of, and so I think it lends itself because it has all the themes for kids in school and bullying and fitting in and finding your true identity, but it's surrounded by a lot of action. So it has kind of a nice combination for animation. And his signature weapon is his hat. When he throws his hat, you saw that, where it
Yes.
turns into blades, takes out the enemy, and comes back in the form of a hat. I mean, that's pretty cool. So.
It is. And what's the feedback been like?
Well, I have been getting really strong feedback by early adapters, and I've been, my books have been around for about 10 years, and I've sold quite a few copies, and so, he's the most popular character, and as you mentioned, he's really emotional in this book, and you're supposed to sit on your emotions. You're supposed to control your emotions. And when I was a kid, that's what people used to say to me. I used to get in a lot of trouble. And I wanted to play with that because when he grows up, he becomes very stoic, and something happens to trigger that, which is going to be revealed in the series of books. Oh. So you'll see where he starts, the origin story, and then if you read The Looking Glass Wars, you'll see where he ends up in terms of being the royal bodyguard. So there's a lot of dots to connect when you're creating a world, which makes it very exciting, but also very stressful.
You have such an imagination, and you also own your own publishing company, right?
Yes, I started a publishing company. I mean, I was originally published through Penguin and Scholastic, Egmont in the UK, but I like to have my own sandbox to play in. So, but the truth is, I came across another book that I didn't write called Static, which I brought along with you, and it's a young adult murder mystery. And this book was so well written, and I fell in love with it. I really took on the idea of launching my own publishing company because of this book, and then I wrapped my series into it. But Static was the reason. Eric Laster, he's a terrific writer who I actually worked with on, we were trying to turn Monopoly the game into Monopoly the movie.
Really?
If you can imagine. It wasn't a very easy task, so that's how we met.
How do you go from a Hollywood producer, like you have a background in skiing, freestyle skier, high performance athlete. Did that help you become a Hollywood producer and everything?
That's a really good question, and I would just say that everything about skiing set me up for the way I see life. I didn't know it when it was happening. I was so in the moment of being successful and being so physical. And it was a lot about taking chances and risks and perseverance and falling down a lot, which I tell my kids quite often. I fell down a lot. People didn't see how often you fall down. They saw that I had these trophies, but I had to fall down in a lot of scary falls. And metaphorically, that sort of set up my focus for producing movies and writing books is, sort of a laser focus and fearlessness and accepting failure to open a door to something else. And so failing is one of the great gifts. You just have to embrace it and trust that it will open a door to something else, which is what happened with these books and what happened with, producing, because I was a failed actor. And I started writing. I had studied all these playwrights, and I really loved these Arthur Miller and Tennessee Williams and John Patrick Shanley, and I just thought, wow, this is such rich worlds. And so I started writing to inform the scenes that I was acting in. And then I found out that, I actually like the writing better. So you just don't know where it's going to take you. So falling down, it's okay.
Falling down is a good thing.
That's the lesson
keep
for
going.
That's the lesson I told my 8-year-old just 2 weeks ago.
And so how do you maintain a healthy lifestyle today?
Well, one of the
Do you
things
run?
I absolutely run. My father was a marathoner, and so was my uncle. It was funny because when I was skiing, he would go for these long runs and he would come back with a huge bowl of ice cream, which he thought was his reward. But he finally found out that that wasn't such a healthy lifestyle. But running and yoga, anything that lets me have, whether it's a moving meditation or meditatives to get grounded, to be creative, one to solve problems, one to reflect on where I'm at, reflect on how I'm doing as a parent. That's the great thing about running. You can immerse yourself physically and emotionally into your breathing. So.
And while you're here in Vancouver, you'll be doing some running and.
Well, I almost came over in my running outfit. I thought, I think I'll do this show in my running garb because I thought I'd run along the waterfront. But and then I thought, well, my mother's going to complain that I didn't have a suit or a jacket on, so yeah. I'm still trying to please my mother.
Well, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show, Frank. I'd like to have you come back.
Oh, anytime.
Here in Vancouver, and
love it here.
And I love your books. And,
oh well, what a nice compliment. So thank you for reading. Thank you for having me on, and I look forward to coming back.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. If you have a question or comment about today's show, go to our website on the screen. Until next time, run with it. Run With It is sponsored by Be Well TV, Hype Hair, Firma Energy Wear, Mallory's Fashion Network, Nike Canada, Skechers Canada, and Vancouver International Marathon Society.